everyone and welcome. I'm Yeva. I'll be taking you through a more challenging and playful practice, a vinyasa practice, with a really strong focus on strengthening the upper body and with lots of opportunities for arm balances. So we'll be challenging our strength and challenging our balance, challenging our focus. When we work with the power of our upper body, we're actually drawing a lot of energy up from the ground. So that's where the energizing aspect comes in. That being in mind, please be mindful of your own body and your own practice, especially when it comes to the arm balances. So remember, everything that I offer is simply an offering. You can take it or you can leave it. So let's begin. Let's find a tall seat. A comfortable tall seat, whatever that may mean for you. If you can close your eyes or just soften your gaze, then do so. And then start with just your breath. So the starting point for our practice always is turning inwards towards our breath, towards our breathing. Feeling your lungs expand, your rib cage expand, your belly expand. Feeling your body empty out of that breath, of that air. Noticing the sound of your breathing, the quality of your breath. And remembering that no matter where you go in this practice, your breath is your through line. Your breath is the heartbeat, the metronome at the center of all of these postures, at the center of the movement, and at the center of your practice. Now inviting in a sense of playfulness, of courageousness to possibly play with some postures that you aren't as comfortable with, as familiar with. But equally and just as importantly, release whatever the outcome may be. So inviting in playfulness, courageousness, and releasing the outcome. So if you don't quite make it into any of these arm balances, it really, really, really doesn't matter. What matters is that you're committed fully to your breath, to your practice, and being on your mat with yourself. Let's take one more deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Big clearing breath. Now let's open our eyes and take your arms out to the sides. Spread out your fingers really, really wide. Now we'll take the action of drawing your fingers in, making fists, and then spreading your fingers out as wide as you can. And you're going to do that as fast as you can. So opening and closing your hands really powerfully, stretching the fingers wide and then clamping them in nice and tight. As you do this, start to breathe a deep and powerful breath. So bringing a little more power into your breathing. The energy of our hands and our arms connects directly into our heart and our lungs to circulation. So feeling the effort, the heat, the little burn that's building up in your hands, your wrists, your forearms, stick with it and find that powerful breath. Now this also serves to really wake up our hands and wake up our forearms for this weight-bearing practice, which is partly why we're doing it. Last 5, 4, stick with it. I know it's hard. 3, 2, and 1. Now inhale, reach your arms up above your head, and then exhale, shake them out, like you're getting little droplets of water off of your fingertips. Good. Come on to hands and knees. Placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders, really clear placement. Inhale for cow pose, letting your belly drop down and your shoulders gather back. Exhale, nice big rounding of your spine, and really don't be afraid here to shrug your shoulders forwards. So a bit more focus on the movement of your shoulder blades. Inhale to open up. Exhale, allowing your shoulders to round, your spine to round in. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. belly softens down, arching your spine. Tuck your toes. Slide your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And let's pause in downward dog. So building the foundation of this weight bearing into your hands and into your arms. You can take a peek at your hands. Spread out all 10 fingers really wide. And then grab at the mat with your finger pads so the beds, your nail beds, go slightly white. Keep that. Keep that strong connection of your finger pads into the mat. And then let your head release. Strengthen up your arms. Press into the mat with your hands and find a nice long line through your arms, your waist, and your spine. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. With your next breath in, send your right leg up to the ceiling, three-legged dog. And breathe out, step right foot forwards between your hands. Lower your back knee to the mat. Breathing into crescent lunge. And exhale, fingertips down to either side of your front foot, half split. Pull your hips back and draw those right toes up towards the ceiling. Now bend your right knee, tent the left hand to the mat. Back leg presses straight, low twisted lunge. Sweep your right arm open and hug your right shoulder back. Take your inhale breath. And then exhale, release back to three-legged dog. Send your right leg behind you. Bend your right knee and stack your right hip open on top of the left. Breathe in. And breathe out. Pull your right knee into your forehead. Stack your shoulders directly over top of your wrists. Now a powerful little bit of breath of fire here. So let's start to pump our low belly in towards our spine. Lift up your hips, lift up your belly, keep going. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now back to plank pose. Breathe in, supported plank if you choose. Gather your shoulders slightly back and lower through chaturanga, coming to your belly for 3. Hug the elbows right into your ribcage. 2 and 1. Let's tent the fingertips wide off to the sides of your mat. Stretch your legs behind you. Inhale for a fingertip cobra, a little rippling cobra. And then exhale, soften down. Hands by low ribs. And press back through hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Breathe in. Left foot steps forward slowly between your hands and breathe out. Lower your back knee to the mat, crescent lunge. Inhale, breath. Fingertips down for half split as you drag your hips back and flex left toes high. Left knee bends, low twisted lunge. Right hand is tented to the ground and your back leg is straight. Take your left arm and stretch it up and open. Hug the left shoulder back. Three-legged downward dog. Left leg behind you. Bend the left knee and stack your hip open. Again, breathe in. And breathe out. Left knee to forehead, shoulders directly over wrists. Breath of fire. So start to pump low belly. Pumping your breath in and out through your nose. And really lift up through your belly and lift up through your hips. Last 5. Keep it going. 3, 4. I can't even count. 3 and 2. And 1. Back to plank pose. Breathe in or supported plank. Now lowering just halfway down through chaturanga. Shoulders gather back. Lower halfway down. Slow and steady and controlled. Upward facing dog. Shift to the tops of your feet. Hug your shoulders back. Your upper arms back. Inhale, breath, and then exhale. Downward facing dog. Let's lift up our heels, look forwards, breathe in, and bend your knees. On your exhale, step or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale, breath. Dive back down, forward fold, exhale, breath. Now rising to stand with that big sweep of breath and a big sweep of your arms. Find chair pose with your exhale. Root back into your heels and stretch out long through your fingertips. Now breathe in here and then breathe out, sink back a little deeper. Again, inhale. Either stay here on your exhale or take your hands, tip them out in front of you and snuggle your knees, your shins onto the backs of your arms. Crow pose or playing with crow pose, so you can keep your toes on the ground and just shift your weight forwards into your hands. Pull forwards through your sternum bone, pull forwards through your gaze. So your feet could both lift there if you want. And now let's come back to chair pose. So root your feet, root your heels. Inhale, arms lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Step or hop back through plank or low push-up on your exhale. Upward facing dog. As you breathe in, big, big open chest. And downward dog. Big exhale. Now right leg rises again. Inhale, breath. And then step forwards between your hands. Exhale, breath. To crescent lunge, we're going to move through that same flow one more time, warming up. Breathe in, fingertips down, half split. Breathe out. Bending your right knee, left hand is tented, low twisted lunge. Take your right arm up and open, inhale. Three-legged dog, send the right leg back on your exhale, bending the knee and stacking your hip open. Breathe in. Take your right knee to your forehead and breathe out. Now right into plank pose, sending your sternum, your heart, and your gaze slightly forwards. Exhale through chaturanga. Really, really hug your elbows in by your waist. Upward dog. Big breath in. Big exhale, downward dog. Left leg rises. Three-legged dog. Take it up with your inhale. Step left foot forwards with your exhale. Back knee softens down. Crescent lunge. Nice big sweep up and open. To your half split. Drag your hips back. Shifting forwards to low twisted lunge. Right hand is tented. Back leg is straight. Peel your left arm open. Three-legged dog. Left leg sends high. Bend the left knee and stack your hip open. Inhale, breath. Left knee to forehead, exhale, breath. To plank pose, breathe in. Really grab at the mat with your finger pads, chaturanga. Shoulders are gathering softly back. Elbows are tacking into your waist. Pull forwards and open through your chest. Upward dog, exhale back. Downward dog. Now big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Lift up your heels and take a look forwards as you breathe in. Bend your knees on your exhale. Step or hop your feet to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Again, halfway lift on your next breath in. Nice, deep, juicy forward fold as you breathe out. Rise to stand. Inhale, breath. And this time, pull hands to center of your chest. Exhale. Standing on your left foot, let's pick up the right knee and flex your right foot. We'll cross right ankle over left thigh and pull our hips back and down into standing pigeon or standing hip stretch. Now we're going to take a little flow, sort of a moving balance. So sink back and down as much as you can, as much as you'd like to. And then with your inhale, draw up through center. Pull your right knee towards your right armpit. And then step right foot behind the left. Bend both knees and take a big bow or a big curtsy down to the ground. We'll do that a few more times. So inhale, pulling right knee up to right armpit, fingertips reach high. Right ankle crosses over left thigh as you sink back and down into that standing hip stretch. Inhale, back up, standing tall, knee towards armpit. Taking that curtsy, that bow down on your exhale. Last time, breathing in. Right ankle crosses your left thigh, breathing out. Inhale, standing tall. And right foot steps behind the left, taking that curtsy, and exhale. Now coming through chair pose, both feet are going to snuggle in, big toe mounds touch, inner ankles, inner thighs touch. Send the arms forwards. Breathe in, a big strong breath. And then exhale, take your hands down to the mat, shoulder width apart. Your knees separate slightly, and we're moving back into our crow pose. So shins right up onto the backs of the arms. Shifting your gaze forwards, pulling your sternum forwards. And maybe you just stay here with your toes still on the ground in this sort of baby crow or perching crow. Or if you're moving into the flying crow, then your feet can lift off the ground. Now remember, the breath is steady. Remember to dive in fully but release the outcome. The offering here is to slowly release your right foot to the back of your mat. So taking as much time as you can, right foot sends back, and left foot steps between your hands. High lunge. Back leg is nice and straight and strong, and rise on up. Send your arms up, high lunge, big broad open chest. Take an inhale breath. And then pulse your arms back by your sides, exhale. Rising back up, high lunge, breathe in. Now fingertips down to the ground. Lengthen your front leg and bow in towards your left shin with your exhale. Bending left knee, high lunge. One more time, inhale. Hands to prayer. Hook your right elbow around to the outside of your left thigh for prayer twist. Take a nice firm press of left hand into right. Spin your chest around towards your thumbs. And breathe deep and powerful breaths. Really clearing with those exhales. Gaze back to the front of your mat. Mindfully release your hands. Three-legged dog. Again, left leg is going to sweep high. Knee bends and your hip stacks open. If you want to stay here, please stay here. Wild thing is on offer. Rolling to the outside edge of your right foot. Letting your left toes find the mat behind you. And then pressing up really firmly and strongly through your feet. Using the power of your legs to send the hips high and allowing your chest to stretch wide and open. Stay there to breathe in and to breathe out. Now rolling slowly and mindfully back around towards three-legged dog. Left leg is high. Exhale, left knee pulls over to your right elbow. And step your left foot to the right side of your mat. Spin the back heel to the ground. Open your right arm to the ceiling. Stay here in this fallen triangle shape. Or shift your weight more into that left hand and scoop up your left inner thigh towards the ceiling for reversed side plank. A lot of strength and a lot of breath required, a lot of focus. Breathe in. And then thread it back to downward dog or three-legged downward dog again with your exhale. Pull forwards to plank or three-legged plank. And exhale, chaturanga. Take your time. Pull forwards and open, breathing in. And back to down dog, breathing out. Send your right leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Breathe in and then breathe out. Right knee touches your upper right arm. So a little kiss of your right knee to your right tricep. Back to three-legged dog. Inhale. Now step your right foot all the way forwards between your hands on your exhale. Back heel spins down for warrior two. Nice big sweep open, and give your shoulders a little shrug just to settle your weight down into your feet. Shift some of the weight bearing from your hands now down into the feet and the legs. Building a little flow here, turn your right palm to face skywards. Sweep it back to your reversed or exalted warrior. Breathe in a deep and steady breath. And then exhale up through center. Low side lunge. Bend your left knee as you extend your right leg and kick out of your right heel. You can stay on fingertips, or you can take some form of a nice sweep of your arms over towards the left. Now shifting forwards towards that exalted warrior again. Sweep up and back. Breathe in. Lengthen forwards for side angle pose, and that could mean forearm propping to your thigh or sliding your right fingertips down to the inside of your right foot. Take that top arm, your left arm, circle it down towards the ground. We'll turn our right toes in, our left toes out, and then cartwheel up and open to warrior two. Now just facing the back of your mat. We're going to do that same flow facing the back of our mat. Exalted warrior. Sweeping your left arm up and back. Breathe in. Low side lunge. Bending your right knee as you extend your left leg and kick out of your left heel. Again, fingertips can be on the ground, or take a nice big creative sweep of your arms over to the side. Crawling, slinking forwards. Exalted warrior. Inhale, breath. Side angle pose. Forearm to thigh, or take the fingertips down to the ground on your exhale. Circle your right arm down in front of your face. We're sweeping through the middle. Turn left toes in, right toes out, up and back. Exalted warrior, facing the front of your mat. And we're going to take one last flow through that same sequence. Low side lunge. Pulling forwards, exalted warrior. Inhale. Side angle pose. Exhale. Now let's pause here in side angle. Let yourself arrive and settle in. Soften into the hips. Broaden and expand across your chest and your arms. And now we'll take that top hand, that left hand, and draw it down to the ground, down to the mat. Spin your back heel up towards the ceiling. And you have both hands on the inside of your right foot. Now option one could be just to stay here. You don't have to add on. Option two is to move into Kundanyasana B. So you can pick your right heel up towards your right butt cheek. Bend your elbows as you tip your chest forwards. And maybe start to float that back leg, that left leg high. Steady your breath. Now with next exhale, back toes to the ground, hug your right knee to your forehead. Big dome of your low back, lift belly, lift hips. Step your right foot between your hands, and now let's soften the back knee to the ground. Sweep your arms behind you, interlace the hands. Squeeze your shoulders back, take a nice little puff up through your chest. Full inhale and full exhale. Pull your sternum forwards, shift your weight into your front foot. Try not to fall over there. Forward fold, so both feet to the top of your mat, and a big sigh or even a flutter out through your lips. And just pull your hands away from the back of your pelvis, so a little rinse or a little floss through your shoulders. Release your fingertips. Half lift, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Let's rise to stand. Inhale. And hands gather to your center, your chest. Exhale. Standing on your right foot, pick up your left knee, flex those left toes. Now cross your left ankle over your right thigh, and we'll sit back again into that standing pigeon. We're starting our sequence on the other side. Draw your bum, your pelvis back and down. Now moving with that nice flow of breath, rise up and pull your left knee towards your left armpit. Step left foot behind the right as you bend your knees and bow down, curtsy down. Up through center, left knee to left armpit. Cross your ankle over your thigh. Sit it back, sit it down, soften into left hip. Keep flowing, breathing in and rising. Step left foot behind, curtsy down, exhale. Up through center, breathe in. Ankle crosses thigh, soften and sink, breathe out. Up through center, inhale, breath. Take that bow, that curtsy, exhale, breath. And now finding chair pose, so both feet gather in and snuggle in, inner thighs hug in. Send your hips back and your fingertips forwards. Inhale, breath. Exhale, let the knees separate as you place your hands down, slightly out in front of you, shoulder width apart, crow pose. Baby crow or little perching crow, keep your toes on the ground and just shift your weight into your hands a little bit. Flying crow, both feet lift off the ground, belly is engaged, core is lifting. And then option for your one-legged crow, or just playing towards one-legged crow, releasing your left foot slowly towards the back of your mat. And then step your right foot between your hands, and let's meet in high lunge. So come on up, nice and steady and square through your hips. Inhale, the arms rise. And exhale, sweep it back. Breathe in, arms rise. Exhale, fingertips to the ground. Lengthen your front leg and bow inwards towards your right shin. High lunge, last time. Breathe in. And now prayer twist. So hands find prayer. Left elbow gathers over to outside of your right thigh. Take that nice firm press of right hand. That's your top hand into your bottom hand. Spin your chest around to your thumbs. Deep clearing breaths. One more round of breath. And then gazing down at the top of your mat, hands release. Find your three-legged dog. Right leg sweeps high. Bend the knees, stack your hip open. Again, you can stay right here. You don't have to go anywhere else. Or roll to outer edge of left foot for wild thing. Right toes find the ground. Strong legs and strong feet to press your hips up. And then allow your chest to stretch open and wide. Stay for an inhale breath, a nice deep breath, and an exhale breath. Gazing to top of your mat as you unwind from wild thing. Back towards three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, right knee pulls over to left elbow and step right foot to the left side of your mat. Fallen triangle, left foot, your back foot seals to the ground and you send the left arm skywards. Reverse side plank, shifting more weight if you want into your right hand, and then really hug up, squeeze up through your inner right thigh to find that lift of your hips and the lift of your waist. Breathe in and exhale, thread back to downward dog or three-legged downward dog. Pull forwards, plank pose, or three-legged plank. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale to open up. Find upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Send your left leg high. Breathe in. Left knee touches your left upper arm. That little kiss. And breathe out. Now send it back again. Three-legged dog. Inhale. Step left foot forwards between your hands on your exhale. And cartwheel up and open right away to your warrior two. Give your shoulders a little shrug. To just soften through shoulders and neck. To settle down into your feet, your legs, into the ground. Left palm faces skywards. Stretch it back into that exalted warrior. Nice side body length. Inhale. Flowing back to that low side lunge. Bend your right knee as you extend the left leg, just as we did on the other side. Maybe fingertips to the ground, or sweep your arms over to the right side. Now shift forward, slink forwards, up and back to exalted warrior. Inhale, breath. Side angle pose on your exhale. Forearm to thigh or reach down to inside of the foot. Now right away we're going to take that transition through the center, turning your left toes in, your right toes out, and cartwheel up and open, warrior two facing back of the mat. Exalted warrior, breathe in. Low side lunge, breathe out. Exalted, inhale, breath. Side angle pose, exhale, breath. Transition through the center of your mat. Right foot turns in, left foot turns out. One last time through that big expansive flow. Exalted. Low side lunge. Breathe your way through. Exalted warrior, inhale. Side angle pose, exhale. And now we will pause in that side angle pose and take a round or two of breath to fully feel and arrive and land in this shape and in this moment. Now take that top hand, your right hand, and just bring it down to your mat. You can adjust your feet a little bit if you need to. Back heel spins up to the ceiling. Hands plant to the mat on the inside of your left foot. So as we had on the other side, you can just stay here. You don't have to go anywhere even close to Kundanyasana if you don't want to. If you are interested, strong arms, strong hands. Pluck your left heel up to your left butt cheek. Now you can bend your elbows as you tip your chest way out in front of you, and then send your right leg high. Breathe. Inhale where you are. Exhale, everyone, right toes to the back of your mat. Take a big pull of left knee to your forehead. And then step that left foot between your hands, and back knee melts to the ground. Nice and easy. Sweep your arms back behind you and interlace the hands. Shoulders shrug back. Nice little release across the front of your chest and your shoulders. Soft forehead, soft face. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, step forwards to forward fold as smoothly as you can. If it's a little wobbly or awkward, don't worry about it. Once you get into that forward fold, let your head release. Maybe take a sigh or a flutter out through the lips. And then fingertips soften to the ground. Half lift, inhale, breath. And forward fold. Exhale, breath. Rise to stand. Breathe in. Hands to heart and breathe out. All right. So let's pick up our right foot again, our right leg. Cross right ankle over top of your left thigh. Now we're revisiting, we're returning to this standing pigeon shape. And you're welcome to just stay here, to just work the balance and the focus and the breath and the release, the stretch into that right hip. The offering here is to move deeper and maybe take it towards the arm balance, towards flying pigeon. So you can hook your arms, the backs of your arms to your right shin. You can reach your hands to the ground. And then if possible, seal your hands shoulder width apart out in front of you, just like a crow pose. Wrap your right foot like a monkey paw around your upper left arm. Pull your chest forwards, your gaze forwards, and then tip your bum, your tailbone, your sitting bones, up towards the ceiling. So chest and heart forwards, hips high, and possibly your back foot can get light. And then you have the option, if you're comfortable with the shape, to work to extend that left leg up and back and keep breathing. Wherever you are, slowly, mindfully, let's return to stand. Rise all the way up, stand tall, pull right knee to your right armpit. Now this time step right foot behind the left, so pinky toes are in line. And just take a nice, sweet, cross-legged forward fold. It might feel nice to crawl your hands over towards the left side of your mat and sink out through your right hip slightly. Pause and just take a nice, sweet breath where you are. Unravel back to center, a little half lift. Release your feet back to parallel, to neutral. Big toe mounds touch. And then we'll come back into chair pose. Inner knees, inner thighs hugged towards the center line and hands to prayer. Inhale. Now I'm going to turn just slightly here so that it's a little easier for you to see and hear what I'm saying. So inhale, breath. Exhale, prayer twist. We're going to take left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Left elbow outside of right thigh. Draw your weight back into your heels. And option one is to just stay here. Take deep, cleansing breaths. If you're wanting to move towards side crow, let's sink down a little bit lower through our hips so we come into a little perch. Separate your hands and take them over to the side of your mat, shoulder width apart. Lift your bum, your hips up and over your elbows. Bend your arms so you've got a nice shelf. And then pull your chest forwards. Now maybe your feet get light. If your feet are lifting, spread your toes and lift your toes up towards the ceiling. Those of you who want to add on Kundanyasana A, you can send your top leg back and your bottom leg forwards. Keep breathing. Keep spreading out your toes. Keep your feet and your legs alive. Now, as best as you can, try to retrace your steps mindfully. And let's come to a forward fold. Top of your mat, extend your legs, take a big sigh. Shake out your shoulders, your head, maybe a little sway back and forth through your upper body. Inhale, rise up to stand. And again, hands to heart. Exhale. We're going to do those same two postures on the other side. So standing on your right foot, pick up your left knee, flex the left toes back to your shin. Standing pigeon first, standing hip stretch. Draw the pelvis back and down. Breathe deep and steady. Stay here and just work this balance and the stretch, your focus. Or maybe take backs of your arms to your shins. Maybe take fingertips to the ground. Maybe full palm of your hand, full palms of both hands to the ground. If you're moving to the flying pigeon, wrap that left foot around your upper right arm your chest pulls forwards, like further forwards than you think possible, and your bum tips right up towards the ceiling. That allows your back foot to maybe get light. And just stay in that little perch, or again, option to extend that back leg up and back, and breathe and stay focused, stay playful, release the outcome, retrace your steps, rise up to stand slowly, pull left knee to left armpit, and then left foot steps behind your right, pinky toes in line, that nice side to come then to that cross-legged forward fold. Feel free, go ahead to walk your hands over towards the right side of your mat, and let your left hip sort of sink out to the left side slightly. Take a nice breath right there. And then we'll release through center, a little half lift on your inhale. Unravel your feet with your exhale. Chair pose. Inner thighs, big toe mounds, squeezed and gathered into that strong center line. Hands to prayer. Breathe in. Now twisting, right elbow hooks to outside of your left thigh. Draw your weight back into your heels. Spin your sternum around to your thumbs. And maybe you stay right there. Big cleansing breaths. Side crow, or adding on again, sink your bum down towards your heels for a little perch. Separate your hands and reach over towards the side of your mat. Hands are shoulder width apart and a little bit out in front of you. Now you have to shift your hips up and over your elbows as you pull your sternum forwards. Maybe your feet get light. Again, spread your toes and lift your toes up towards the ceiling. If you're moving towards Kundanyasana A, top leg stretches straight up and back, and bottom leg extends forwards. Kick out of both feet and breathe steady, powerful breaths. Now retracing your steps if you can, trying to maintain that control to return the same way that you arrived. And now a nice forward fold to let all of that go, all of that intense focus and effort. Big sigh. Halfway lift, inhale, breath. And now step it back to downward dog with your exhale. Stay in downward dog, or maybe child's pose. Or the offering is to take one last flow through vinyasa, only if your shoulders are feeling up to it. If you'd like to, come on forwards to plank with your breath in. A nice steady chaturanga with your breath out. Open up to upward dog. Inhale. And now come on back to downward dog, and then right away, let's all soften knees to the ground and sit back onto your heels. Give your shoulders a little shrug, forwards and up, and then back and down. Sitting on your knees, take your right arm, wrap it underneath your left. So eagle wrap your arms. Pull your fingertips up towards the ceiling. As you draw your elbows away from your chest. Pause there and just take a nice slow round of breath, feeling some space between your shoulder blades and your spine. Release your arms, take your fingertips back behind you. Little baby camel. Just hug the shoulders back and take a puff up through your chest. Keep your bum on your heels if you'd like, or option to press your hips up and away from your heels, if that's okay, on your knees and on your low back. Soften back to a neutral seat, and then just switch. Left elbow underneath your right, eagle wrap the arms. pull your fingertips high to the ceiling, your elbows away from your chest, and just pause. Space between shoulder blades and spine. Unwrap those eagle arms. Baby camel again, fingertips behind you. Nice big puff of the chest. Maybe press your hips up and away from your heels. And then again, just soften back towards your neutral seat. Come on up to hands and knees. Two options here. Option one is puppy dog pose, and option two is dolphin pose. So puppy dog pose first, hips over top of your knees, hands shoulder width apart. Walk your hands forwards and allow your chest, your sternum, your heart, and your forehead to sink to the ground. So big, huge, soft breaths here. Option two, forearms to the ground. This is obviously going to be a little more strength for your shoulders. So if you've got some juice left, forearms to the ground, wrap your fingers around the outsides of your elbows just to get that nice stacking of your bones. And then palms of the hands flat to the ground. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, slide your hips up and back. And then most of you will probably want to take a little tiptoe of your feet in a little closer to your elbows. Now really firm pressure of your forearms into the ground so that there's space between the crown of your head and the floor. Breathe steady. Those of you who are comfortable and familiar with forearm stand, then of course you could move in that direction. Otherwise, just stay here. Keep breathing. Keep extending your forearms into the ground, strengthening and opening through your shoulders and your chest. One more breath, one more inhale, and then exhale, knees to the ground. Child's pose. Bum to your heels, forehead to the mat, and then sweep your arms back behind you and just pause. Get really soft, really heavy. This is a surrender moment. Surrender everything that has happened so far. Now let's release. Come on forwards to your bellies. Just kind of slide out, slink out however you want to. Coming to the end of our practice, we'll take a few stretches for our shoulders after all of that weight bearing, and then find rest. So starting from this Sphinx pose shape, we'll take our right arm and thread it underneath the left. So the back of your hand and the back of your arm is sealed to the ground. And then we're flattening our chest over top of that right arm. You can crawl your left fingertips forwards and let your forehead rest onto the ground, onto your mat. Now as you stay here, relax your glutes, relax your belly, relax your thighs, and just flatten your chest over that right arm to stretch out the back of your arm and the back of your shoulder. Okay, let's let that go. So lift it up just enough to release your right arm. I'm going to turn slightly so it's easier to see here. Send your right arm straight out to the side, so straight out from your right shoulder. And then bend your elbow 90 degrees. We'll take our right cheek to the ground. Bend your knees and draw your knees up towards your belly button. And tent your left fingertips onto the floor. So we're going for a stretch across the front of your right shoulder and into your pectorals, the front of your chest. So this is option one. This is probably more than enough for a lot of us. If you do want to add on, you can lift your left knee up towards the ceiling, so you're kind of opening up your hips. And you can place your left foot to the mat just behind your right. So you're spanning open You get a little bit of a twist here through your spine as well. Relax as much as you can. Breathe nice and deep. Starting to let our breath slow down, our heart rate slow down. And then release back through center. So back through onto your belly. Now to the other side, left arm threads underneath your right. Back of the hand, back of the arm flattened onto the ground. Crawl your right fingertips forwards and let your forehead sink to the mat. Relax your belly. Relax your thighs, your glutes, your butt muscles. Get really soft and really heavy. Surrendering here, so at the end of the practice is really the shift of our energy away from the effort, the challenge, and into the surrender and the release. Releasing your efforts, releasing the fruits of your efforts. Let's allow ourselves to release. Come on up and take your left arm straight out to the left side. Bend your elbow 90 degrees. You're taking your left cheek to the mat, bending your knees and drawing your knees up to belly button height. Right hand is tented to the ground. Pausing here. If that's enough of a stretch, then just stay. You don't have to add anything else on. If you do want more, then pull your right knee open towards the ceiling and place your right foot just behind your left. Deep belly breaths. Slow down your breathing. Start to let your body unwind from that practice, that more challenging and energizing practice. And then letting that go. So coming back through to your belly, sort of slither out, slide out onto your belly. And then simply turn over like a pancake onto your back. Just flip yourself over. Let's take one nice hug, one really nice firm squeeze of the knees in towards your chest. Maybe a little rock from side to side there to massage a bit through the back of your pelvis. Big, huge, soft inhale breath, and then exhale, draw your nose and your forehead up towards your knees. Get nice and tiny, nice and small. Breathe in. And then exhale, release. Finding our rest pose, Shavasana. So legs release into a nice soft V. Arms release into a nice soft V. Take a sigh, a breath in and a to allow your full weight to drop into the ground. Now as you rest and find stillness, bring those first thoughts of intention back in. So fully committing to the courageousness, the playfulness, fully committing to staying present, to maybe trying and moving into places that are not as comfortable or as familiar, but then surrendering and releasing what the outcome may be. So let go. Completely let go. And in that rest, and in that stillness, just allow your body to absorb. Let your your nervous system absorb all of the benefits of your effort. And then one more sweet breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Move your fingers and move your toes softly. Curl over towards one side, coming into a nice, quiet fetal position. You can pause there for a breath, just giving yourself a moment to drape into the ground without having to be or do anything. And then using your hands to help you gather yourself up to your seat, back up to the same place where we first started. Gather your hands together into prayer, that gesture of sealing in, of closing in the practice, a gesture of gratitude and of balance. And one final breath together to close. Breathe in through nose, again breathe out through your mouth. Thank you all for practicing. Namaste.